Welcome back, guys, to EV Futures today. I'm super pumped. Cal's excited because we're going to be checking out our AT board, the JackZoom. The reason this one's special, it's got a couple little secret features and we're about to go for a cruise. What we're going to do, we're going to hand it over to Cal. Cal, can you please give us the quick and dirty rundown? What's special about this board? What are some of its stats? And then let's go for a ride, have some fun.
Look, it is relatively unique, this product, in as much as it's an all-terrain board. It's a 2-in-1 board, meaning you can take these large wheels off and put regular street wheels on. For those people who like to do a bit of carving and sliding, that's what you'll want. But for those people who want something a little more safer, something that can soak up the bumps, the vibration, and handle a little bit of wet weather, you've got the all-terrain wheels here. And these 6-inch wheels, I'll just point out, they're non-pneumatic, and they work really great.
Yeah, we've been going for a lot of rides on this. We have been putting it through its paces a little bit.
So I thought that might be something that let the board down a little bit with these type of tyres, but they've worked fantastically.
Yep, and what about like belt driven? So what does that mean?
It's a belt drive board.
So we got some dude mowing the lawn behind us as well, interrupting our videos. With the magic of editing, let's get rid of him in 3, 2, 1, gone.
We're gonna make
where we go. I think, oh yeah, belt driven.
We're going to be quick as he's coming back. All right, it's a belt drive board, which is what you're going to find in any one of these 2-in-1 board designs, because it's the only thing that will allow you to be able to swap over to street wheels and to all-terrain wheels is this type of system. Now, the advantage you get with a belt drive system is that it will climb steeper hills. It will usually be a little bit more torquier, but the downside to it is it's much more mechanical. You're going to have to do some maintenance, and you're going to have to keep an eye on it and make sure that it's well maintained at all times. Otherwise, it can be a headache. All
right, now we're about to go. We're going to go for a ride, show you guys some footage. We're going to do a speed run and like our top speed, acceleration. What else we got in there? We've got a hill climb test, which we'll show you guys as well. Any last little features before any other little features as well before we go for a burn?
The only other thing I thought that was relatively unique with this board is it does come with some LED tracks on both sides, which light up the underside of your board at night, which is kind of unique, kind of neat. Anything that makes you more visual on the roads, I think, is a good thing. So,
and we'll talk about this remote as well. We'll get some other people to test it out and get their thoughts as well. But at the meantime, let's go for a ride. Ready to have some fun?
Let's do it. There's a big rock up here, that's all, that I don't like.
Righty, Maisie, so we got your board here. We're going to get your impressions on the JackZoom, but what do you normally ride?
Usually ride the Evolve Bamboo, the GTX.
This bad boy.
Use street wheels on it, 107s, the ABEX, but for this test today I've chucked the all-terrains on.
Yep. Do you like this? How many Ks do you reckon you've done on your board?
So far, since I bought it, a couple hundred.
Okay. And you also have another Evolve as well, yeah?
Yeah, I just bought a GT, the carbon fibre.
Yep.
A bit longer deck.
Is there, okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit about the AT wheels, because that's what we're using. Do you like them? How do you feel versus your street board?
Stability wise, they're the duck's nuts.
Yep. That means good, yeah, for those international audience.
Real good. Stability's heaps better. You feel like you can ride without falling off, except if you're Granger. But in the off-road mode, it's saying that on the street it's heaps more stable, but once you start getting off-road, obviously you're prone to all the sticks and loose dirt and whatnot. So I've tightened up my trucks about a turn each one, and it's given me a lot more sense of security being off-road.
All right. Now, have you ever ridden any of the other cheaper boards?
No.
Just some of the own board street boards, but no other AT boards?
No.
All right, so we're kind of going to be comparing your expensive boards to the JackZoom. Ready to do it? So you're going to jump on, have a burn, and then I'll get your impressions.
Right on.
All right. Rightio, Maisie, how was it? You've gone for a little burn?
I enjoyed it. The wheels were better than I thought, being a solid rubber tyre compared to my pneumatic tyres. I thought they wouldn't have as much, I guess, give. Softer ride, but it was quite soft. As far as taking the limits on the carving, I was a bit wary on these ones. But I did find the deck a little bit too small for me as in the way of length, because my feet is not the usual width I had them, so felt a bit uncomfortable like that because of stability wise. So you'd like it a little bit longer if it was up to you? Yeah, okay. Definitely a bit longer. Had good torque, good pickup, brakes are exceptional. Being the wheel remote, it's kind of compared to mine.
That's your remote,
which has a trigger for go, obviously, and a thumb brake for stopping. You can sometimes hit the wrong button. Do you like this remote? If you had to pick between this one or the wheel type, what do you prefer? I prefer wheel type. Okay. Any day of the week. No worries. Right. But as far as off-road, it handled well. The wheels handled really well. And what would you say for the price for like the 700, I think, versus your 1900? I say it's a definite goer. Obviously you'll lose a bit on range, but that's a given because the batteries are obviously not quite as big and different setup. But definitely for the price, I highly recommend it. All right, who'd you recommend this one to? What sort of audience? I'd say beginners, newcomers, people who are just in the city, or what sort of who do you think this is optimally designed for? I'd say beginners to intermediate. Okay. Preferably somebody smaller who's got, I guess, a bit shorter, so their stance would be right for them. As a tall person, I'd say you'd probably want to go with something with a longer deck. No worries. All right. Cheers. Thanks, mate. No worries.
Time for some hill testing. This is the perfect spot. This is one of the steepest places I know, and the beauty about this one, there's like 4 little stops up along the way, and it gets steeper and steeper each time you're going out, each time you go up a level. So it starts up at about 20 degrees, and by the end I think it's past 25 degrees. So some big warning signs here. We'll see, we've got one ring at a time. Cal can film me from down here and we'll find out how this board's going to actually go. I'm not too sure, because even though it is belt driven with these big AT wheels on here, well, it's anybody's guess just how many rungs we're going to get up. Let's do it.
I don't know if you can do it. You can do it, Stu! It's going pretty well so far.
Alright.
That's the first leg.
Yeah, that part's pretty easy. Most boards can do that one. It's this one right here that I'm worried about. Alright, so this one's a little bit steeper.
He's doing it.
Okie dokie. Alright, so we're at the second stop. It's sort of there's a nasty little I guess lip right at the start there, which sucks a bit of energy out. And I should say too, we did this when there's still plenty of charge in the pack, so we're not doing this at the end of the ride or anything like that. Alright.
I'm having me doubts about this section.
Yeah. We'll see, we'll see. I'm going to start right back here so I get as much run up as possible. We're picking up speed.
Okay, the belt drive.
Oh, we were so close. Alright, so we were inches away from getting to the third part, but no, I don't think that's I'm gonna call it right here. So pretty much almost to part number 3, but that's not a bad effort, especially with these wheels on here.
So it went over 25 degrees roughly, no problem, yeah. So that's impressive. It
was crawling though, and I wouldn't recommend that if this is the sort of hill you're going to be going up. It's not going to be good for your board and your battery to be putting it under that much strain all the time. Anyway, let's go for a ride, meet up with some other people and do a bit more testing on the JackZoom AT board. Rightio, we're at the track. Let's find out how fast this thing actually goes. We're going to be doing it with the road wheels. We've got Cal all the way up there. Then we'll do the same test as well with the AT wheels and find out just how fast he can go 100 meters and what's the acceleration like. So we're going to time him and see how it goes. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, we're with the road wheels in the fastest mode. Coming to this line just here. And boom. Alrighty. 14.26 seconds. We change it over and see, do you reckon it'll go faster or slower with the AT wheels?
I think it will go slower.
I'm going to say go faster.
It's going to have a higher top speed, put it that way, but it's going to accelerate slower.
Alright, we'll see. Let's change the wheels over and then run it again.
Alright.
Ready, Cal? So we're going to do another speed run with the AT wheels on there. But yeah, what's the process in switching these out, all that sort of stuff?
Well, look, this is one of the good things about this JackZoom board is the fact that you can swap out street wheels or all-terrain wheels. So we're just going to have a look and see how difficult that process is. It's really not that difficult because all it takes is a couple of lock nuts. Now, that's one thing I'd say, if you ever did get one of these boards, I'd go and buy a packet of lock nuts, because after a few changeovers, these little nylon nuts are gonna probably wear out, and to have one of these undo while you're riding is probably not optimal. So
that could be disastrous.
Keep fresh lock nuts on your board if you can.
Yep.
So let's
we've got a little washer.
So we've got the washer. It's just a matter of getting the wheel off. It's got a bearing and a spacer inside there, which is not going anywhere, so that's good. That's off. We have different size belts for the different wheels, so that's something you'll need to consider. Just make sure your spacer lines up in the middle of the axle, and so make sure you get your belt in there. Let's see if we can get that with the spacer. It's going on all right.
Almost. There you go.
Right, we're in business. It's just a matter of putting the washer on, your lock nut. Don't over tighten them or you will damage your bearings. Just do them up, so cinch it right up so it's just nice and tight without being
excessive.
All
right, so that's it. And the front wheels is probably even easier. It's just replace, take off the lock nut, slide it on, no bands or anything like that.
So it's a relatively quick changeover. You don't need too many parts. All you need is a basic skate tool and you're on your way.
Yep.
So
and that comes with it too. So.
It does.
All right, so let's change it up and then do another speed run.
All right.
There, we got the AT wheels on. You ready? Ready. 3, 2, 1, go. Righty, so we've got to beat 14. Ooh, it's going to be close. Okay. Hopefully that's coming through. 14.39.
Slower.
By like the smallest percentage, by like 1%.
As much of a muchness. It might be the top speed where the difference is.
All right, so in terms of acceleration, it didn't matter whether you had the bigger wheels or the road wheels.
Well, look, I felt maybe on the street wheels it accelerated a little quicker.
Yep.
But I felt like the top speed was fairly similar.
Keep going for a ride and have some fun.
Let's do it.
Right, after 3 months, we're going to do our summary of the JackZoom, our pros, cons, should you get it, what we like, give it a final EV Futures average score between both of us. So Cal, let's start us off. What did you like about this board?
Well, obviously these all-terrain wheels, they're fantastic and they're very unique. We've never seen any wheels quite like this or tyres quite like this. Yep. They're not pneumatic, they're a solid rubber tyre and they work very well.
I'm going to say, like, we were just skating then, my feet were getting sore at the end of the ride today, and you had no problems whatsoever because they soak up the bumps so much better. That's definitely
vibration, the bumps, everything.
Very, very nice wheels, and they're pretty light as well.
Yeah.
So, yep.
So that's obviously a big plus for this board, and the fact that you can swap it out and put your street wheels on anytime, that's fantastic. It's got really good truck system, nice wide trucks.
And I felt it was a little bit more stable as well versus some of the other ones. That wider part when I was carving, and just felt like you had a little bit more stability.
Yep, that little extra inch on the trucks makes a difference for sure.
Yep, and definitely suited to off-road with those bigger wheels, with that wider truck. It just was a lot more stable.
Yeah. I like the fact that it's got a LED light system underneath, which we don't do much riding at night, so it's not that useful for us. But if anyone was doing riding at night, that's going to be a great little thing that'll help you to be seen.
Mm-hmm. What about the belt system? Because this one definitely has some pros and cons. For me, I like a belt system and the amount of power you can get and the torque and the way it can climb those hills. But a hub system is so much simpler, and you don't have to do any maintenance, and I guess for someone lazy like me, I find that quite useful. But you?
Yeah, look, they provide you with a little more torque, so if you were in a hilly area, you'd probably want to go for a belt drive system. If you're not in a area that has a lot of hills, then I wouldn't go really near a belt drive system, just because they require maintenance and they require parts. As you can see, there's a lot of places you can get dirt and dust and create a lot of wear in the system. So you're going to have spare belts and potentially maybe some spare cogs as things start to wear out.
And they're noisier too.
They're definitely noisier, but that can be a plus because people can hear you coming sometimes, so that's kind of neat.
Yep.
And that kind of sounds cool.
Move on, talk about something I didn't like. So in some really tight turns, my feet would sometimes, I wish it was a little bit wider or something. And I know when you saw Maisie or Adam riding this a little while ago when he was down, his feet were sort of touching on the edge of the trucks as well. So that was only in really, really tight turns though. And it would happen very rarely, and at low speeds, I would say as well.
Tight, low speed turns, you can get some wheel bite. But that's only with the all-terrain wheels on, and we haven't found that to be an issue in real life practical riding, so that's been good. The other good thing is, well, the deck. Well, it's good and bad, didn't we? We found it to be good and bad. It's a unique deck in as much as that it's concaved in this area here where your feet are. And these corners, they're kicked up nicely to create a nice little concave. So it feels good when you're riding, but some of the taller riders like Adam and Stu even felt that this board wasn't wide enough for them to stand comfortably. And you do need a wide stance, especially on a fast board where you can be braking quickly. For braking, it's important to have a good stance. So some people who are taller felt a little bit uncomfortable on this board. They felt it was a little bit small and they wished it was a few inches longer.
What about, I did like the option you can put on the street wheels. I thought that was pretty cool. So if you want to, use street wheels most of the week and just on the weekend, if you're going to go off road or go somewhere special, then you can definitely change that out. That's definitely a nice option that's not really available in all the boards.
The other thing I really wanted to talk about was the braking with this board. The braking was kind of abrupt, and the reason being is the board they sent out to us was sort of a prototype. It didn't have the variability in braking. So if you bought this board today, you're going to be able to adjust the braking sensitivity.
Yeah, because at the moment ours is way too stiff. It throws you off the front. The ESC's doing some stuff in there that it's using. So yeah, you can definitely update them, or whatever the version that's out now, we've been told you can change that. But that was a big negative for me on just this particular prototype model, was the braking was really severe, would be a word to say, like just stop too abruptly.
So yeah, you can, with the new version, you can set it up with a less aggressive braking profile or something more aggressive if you're well used to it. So that's something to take note of. So you can adjust the brakes. That's a feature that I do like. Not many boards have that, and this one does, so that's a good thing.
All right.
The other thing I wanted to talk about was the battery. This came with the smallest battery option, which was 6.6 amp hour, which we found not to be adequate. If you're going to get an all-terrain board like this and run it in all-terrain, we definitely suggest you'd get the bigger battery, which I believe is the 10.5
yeah, 10.5, 10.6, something like
10.6
that.
amp hour.
It sucks down the juice, compared to our traditional road boards. It's a lot less energy efficient.
Yeah, so you're going to need that bigger battery for sure if you're going to be running it in all-terrain mode. With the street wheels, it's up to you what battery you get, but obviously a bigger battery is going to be a lot more fun. You're going to spend a lot less time charging. And
we're getting about 10 Ks with these AT wheels on here.
Yeah, So I think with the bigger battery, you could, you know, almost get it out to about 18 kilometers.
Yeah,
or...
yeah. You can do some real rides. So you don't want to get somewhere halfway and then your battery goes flat. Right, yeah. And what about the price? Final point for me, I'm going to say, for what you get, I think it's a very well priced board. It's got a lot of features. It's got a lot of options. It's not perfect, but you're also not paying extreme amounts of money like, you know, some Evolve boards or something which are $2,000. And something we didn't touch on, final thoughts on the remote. I quite liked it. It was adequate enough. It wasn't super fancy. It didn't really have too many dials or anything. But when I was riding, I found it fine in my hands, besides the braking that was touchy.
Working, functionally, it works perfectly. There's nothing to complain about. It's comfortable in the hand and it does exactly what it's supposed to do. And as far as I'm concerned, that's all that's really important with the remote. So yeah, the remote was fine. No problems with that at all.
Price?
What did we say? We said about $5.99 US for the smaller battery option, and with the big battery option, I believe it was $7.99 US. So I'd definitely pay the extra couple of $100 and get the bigger battery option, and I reckon you'll have a board that you'll have a lot of fun on and will serve you well.
Did you think it was a good price? Like,
yeah, for what it, yeah, it is. If you want a 2-in-1 board, meaning one that does street and all-terrain, usually you're paying anywhere from $1,500 upwards. You know, you're looking at boards like Evolve.
Yep.
So,
all right. Well, I'm going to give the JackZoom AT board a 73 out of 100. So that's my score. With all things considered, the top speed, the hill climb, the price, all that sort of stuff, the changeable wheels, that's my summary. About you, Cal, out of 100?
I'd give it about 75, I reckon.
Okay, no worries. So that's an easy average. I can even do that here. I don't know, I can put it on the screen, but yeah. So the EV Futures average for the JackZoom is 74 out of 100. So good job, good, reliable, well-priced board that you're going to have a lot of fun with, but we recommend getting a better battery and adjusting the brakes.
And get some spare belts.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, we'll catch you guys next time and ride safe.